everyone, as always welcome back to What the Health. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to avoid overeating. It's something that is so easily done but so easily avoided as well, and it's something that I have done in the past, and these are the tips that I sort of tell myself and live by to avoid that overeating, uncomfortable feeling. So the first tip is so straightforward, but it's probably the most important one, and that's to make sure that you're loading up on the good stuff, the nutritious food, the truly healthy food. So when you're eating things like processed food, refined sugar, it's actually very easy to overeat on these foods because the nutritional density of them is quite low. So for example, if you had a huge bowl of sugary sweets, you could probably eat the whole bowl. You'd probably feel sick, but you could eat that volume of food because you're not getting a lot of nutrition from it, so you don't feel as full. Whereas if you're eating a huge salad, loads of vegetables, a really healthy, balanced plate of food, you're much more likely to feel fuller from less food. So by that reasoning, it's much more difficult to overeat when you're eating really, really nutritious food. So for example, I know that if I ate, say, a big bowl of rice with loads of green veg, leafy greens, all mixed up in it, that would fill me up so much more than, say, a takeaway meal. So make sure you pack your meals full of really nutritious food, and you'll find that overeating naturally just isn't as much of a problem. Tip number 2 is all about what you buy. So if you buy food that you could just easily snack on all day long, sort of the chocolate, sweets, crisps, and it's sat there in your kitchen, you are more likely to just go and grab for it. If you don't buy it, it's not there to eat. If you buy healthy snacks, healthy food to make your meals with, that's what you're naturally going to grab for to use. So it's not about denying yourself things, it's about figuring out. So for example, in our kitchen we have, say, a little pack of sort of snack-sized chocolate bars. If we just want a little treat, there it is. It's like a tiny little chocolate bar, and I know that I could eat that and think I've had my treat. Whereas if we had a huge bowl on our living room table full of sweets, candy, I know that I would snack at it all day long. So it's just about making sure that what you buy in your weekly food shop is what you actually want to be eating. Tip number 3 is to never reach that state where you feel like you're starving hungry and you would eat anything that was put in front of you, because the likelihood is that you probably would eat anything that was put in front of you. And if you, say, went out for a meal, you're probably more likely to order a starter, side dishes, rather than just the one meal that you would have had if you were at a normal sort of state of hunger and just kind of ready for your meal. So how I like to do this is to make sure I have healthy snacks throughout the day. Lots of people have very different opinions on snacking. My personal opinion is that I know I need snacks. I can't really go my 3 meals with no snacks in between. I get too hungry. I just can't eat a massive volume of food at one time. I have to spread it out more. So that's one of my ways that I don't let myself get ravenously hungry. And I know that every time that does happen, I make really poor food choices, so that's one to avoid. Number 4, I'm sure you've heard this phrase lots, but it's about eating mindfully. So what that is sitting with your plate of food and actually thinking about what you're consuming rather than being totally distracted by things like the TV, watching a YouTube video. I know I'm guilty of it, but I know that the times I really think about what I'm eating and think about the volume of food I've just eaten, I am way more satisfied. So that's what it is about eating mindfully, being aware of what you're eating, being aware of how your hunger levels have changed, waiting that amount of time after your meal to realise for the message to go from your stomach to your brain to say, I'm full. And because it's really easy to miss that and to eat a meal and then think, actually I'm not full, because it hasn't quite computed yet. So you want to have extra snacks, but that can really lead to just overeating and feeling way too full. And then the final tip is one that's kind of common sense really, but you'd think that it was easier to follow than it is, and that is to stop eating when you're full rather than uncomfortable, because it's very easy, especially when you're either out for a meal or it's a meal that you haven't prepared yourself, to just kind of eat everything that's there, regardless of whether you're so full you can't move, and that's a horrible feeling. Eat until you're full. Say if you are out at a restaurant or somewhere and you have your meal and you get 3/4 of the way through or 2/3 of the way through and you think, I am full, ask the restaurant if you can take the rest of the food home. If you're cooking at home, dish out the food from the pan that you want to eat, and then whatever's left, put it in the fridge for tomorrow, put it in the freezer. Don't feel like you have to eat everything all at once. And it's so easy to do, especially if it's already on your plate. So I know sometimes I'm so guilty of this. I'll make a big bowl of pasta, I'll start to eat it, I'll think there's way too much here. I'll finish it because I think that, well, what's the point in not finishing it? And I'll feel uncomfortable for the rest of the night. It's really, really just a bad feeling, and it doesn't make you feel healthy, it doesn't make you feel vibrant, it makes you feel sluggish. So what I would try to do is to eat as much of the meal as I felt like I needed to feel satisfied but not uncomfortable, save the rest, eat it another day. It's such a simple thing, but it's so easy to forget when you're in the moment eating your meal. And there are my tips for avoiding overeating. Of course, as always, I would love to hear your tips. If you've got anything totally different that I haven't mentioned that you think that it would be really good for me to know, and share it in the comments so everyone can read it as well. Awesome. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and click that subscribe button, and I'll see you next week. Bye!